Let's bring in Matt Gaetz, Republican congressman, who sits on the House Judiciary Committee. Obviously, there is a lot in this report, and there's a lot that Democrats will grab onto. There is Robert Mueller himself basically said, now the door is open to Democrats like Representative Maloney and whoever chooses to continue to pursue this investigation with regard to obstruction. That's their right, and they may choose to do that. They've asked to see Mueller, and they've asked for all of the background information and details on this, and it's their right to try to investigate all of that. Representative, so what are your thoughts in terms of what happens now?
There are three reasons why there's no opportunity for any sort of criminal prosecution against the president. The first is you cannot unwind his actions from legitimate Article 2 powers. That was Mueller's own problem, is that you couldn't figure out where obstruction would have begun and where Article 2 would have ended when you look at the legitimate exercise of that activity. And this was a unique circumstance, Martha, where you had the President of the United States, who is the leader of the executive branch, who knew that the executive branch was doing something that was hurting the country by advancing this improper investigation. And these things didn't happen in a vacuum. I recall my conversations with the president during this time, and what he was most worried about was North Korea. Obama had told him that North Korea was the biggest problem in the world, and you've got this three-dimensional chess game with Russia, China, and North Korea, and the president wasn't able to really use all the tools that we would want our president to use because he was under this domestic assault, under this flawed investigation. So he was doing everything possible to try to wind up the investigation legitimately so that he could go and be the president and the leader of the free world. Nothing wrong or criminal about that. And it's also evident that most of what the president was doing was in public. That's not how people commit crimes.
All right. I want to put up one section of the report, Congressman Gaetz, which deals with the June 9th meeting, which you have highlighted here. It says, on June 9th, for example, a Russian lawyer met with senior Trump campaign officials, Donald Trump Jr., Jared Kushner, and campaign chairman Paul Manafort to deliver what the email proposed the meeting described as official documents and information that would incriminate Hillary. The materials were offered to Trump Jr. as, quote, part of Russia and its government support for Mr. Trump. Now, you use that as an example of why you say that the Mueller report is aggressively written. What do you mean by that?
Well, there's no meeting of the minds, right? Just because two ships are both sailing in the same direction, it doesn't mean they've agreed with one another to chart the same course. So here you've got a circumstance where obviously Donald Trump Jr. wanted bad information about Hillary Clinton to be in the public sphere. Russia wanted the same thing, but there was no agreement for them to coordinate or collude or conspire to make that happen. That's why they were unable to charge Donald Trump Jr. If there was a meeting of the minds, if there was evidence to support those claims, then I think you would have seen a criminal indictment. But obviously the people who wrote this report are no fans of the president. You had Andrew Weissman, who was a Hillary Clinton booster. You had Jeannie Rhee, who represented the Clinton Foundation against FOIA requests. So this was a group of people who had an axe to grind, and though they couldn't bring charges because they didn't want to be, they couldn't sustain them, they still wrote bad stuff.
So one of the things that Mr. Maloney and others are very concerned about is that there was this constant outreach from people from Russia, and they were trying to reach out, and the fact that the members of the campaign who were approached did not immediately call in the FBI and alert them that this was going on. That, a lot of people really feel like that was a big mistake on the part of the Trump campaign.
Well, I think you see most of that inflow into the campaign from Papadopoulos as he's trying to set up a meeting between Putin and then candidate Trump, but it never happened. It never materialized, which is an easy thing to understand if you were part of the Trump campaign, because it was largely careening from one rally to another, and so there wasn't this opportunity for everyone to sit around and figure out what they were going to talk to the FBI about. What is unfortunate is that now international players are trying to influence our elections. Russia is not our friend. I don't think that the Trump campaign viewed Russia as a friend, though they did see Russia attempting to achieve some of the same objectives because they had their own axe to grind with Hillary Clinton for their own reasons.
All right. Congressman Gaetz, thank you very much. Good to see you tonight.
Thank you.